This is In the Dirt with ASOTU.
Okay, we are here at the Cars booth with the one and only CEO, Alex Vetter. Nice to have you. Thanks for giving us a few minutes.
Thanks for being here, guys.
The ecosystem that you've built around this street corner specifically is a pretty happening spot. Like, you're divided by several roads. It almost feels like a city occupation.
It's grown quite a bit over the years, hasn't it?
It has.
Yeah, what was the, go back to the first booth that you guys ever had. How long ago was that? What did it look like?
He's like, you want to see my briefcase?
It was backed by a dark closet. I think the janitor's closet was next to where we started.
And it was bigger. No.
And it wasn't, let's just say, a very popular destination back in the day.
What was the first NADA? Do you remember your first trip?
Yeah, well, let's see. San Francisco would have been one of the first big exhibits, but prior to that was, I believe, New Orleans.
Okay.
Was one of the early ones, and let's just say, again, it wasn't something people took seriously back then. It was like, what the digital guys, who are these people? And now it looks like a software convention, right? I mean,
it really does.
If there's a theme for this year, I mean, technology is leading the way.
Yeah. No, well, I think that's what's interesting is because, like, from those early days, like, the progression of Cars.com has looked a lot different than maybe a lot of people would have, like, and if someone were to say, what's Cars.com look like 25 years from now? I don't think a lot of people would have gone and thrown this out there, but you've progressed in this way that has constantly adopted new technology. What was that kind of initial turning point that said, hey, we're going to continue to adopt the most forward-thinking digital technology?
Well, look, I think we've always kept the user at the center of our ecosystem, and if a user has a pain point, we want to solve it. And importantly, we want to solve it on behalf of the dealership. And so when you think about the user journey over the last decade, they want to save time, they want to save money, they want a better experience. And so we're helping dealerships improve those things, delivering it in a technology-centric way, which is ultimately what customers are expecting in 2023, right? They don't want to see things the way it used to be. They want to imagine a more digitally driven future.
You have a unique perspective, given the fact that as a two-sided marketplace and also DealerRater getting first-party comments and ratings from consumers from a high level. Can you explain what you're seeing from a consumer sentiment standpoint and also a consumer desire for what they want the process to be?
I think it's those things, right? They want to save time, they want to save money, and they want a better experience. And DealerRater, what it helps dealers do is identify where they're falling down in delivering a great experience. And by harvesting that data and giving it to the dealer, they can see where they need to improve their customer experience. And so I encourage the dealers that are here at the show or even back home watching, contact Cars.com. We can give you insights in terms of how your dealership is performing relative to other dealers in your market, and using that data to elevate pain points that the customer is saying to other shoppers. You want to put your best foot forward.
Yeah, we were sitting at lunch a little over a year and a half ago. We were at Brian Pash's event, and I'll never forget this. And I've been meaning to go back to this point with you and just kind of jam around it a little bit, because we were just all imagining, we're like, okay, at that point, it's always, every single year, there's always, there's what's going to happen next year? What's going to happen next year? And you said something that caught me. You're like, well, who does auto have to look to, right? As far as the next thing, where we're headed to.
An indicator.
We said maybe maybe homes and mortgages and things like that are an indicator, but it seems like auto's really becoming an indicator for a lot more industries, and even in just the last year, we've become an indicator for industry abroad. I mean, even just thinking about large automakers coming into the space, the way interest rates are affecting auto. When you're looking at the indicators that auto is now having, because you have this massive look across multiple platforms, two-party marketplaces, what are the indicators that you're looking at heading into 2023?
Well, look, I can tell you 2023 is going to be a much better year than people are predicting. We see that in consumer demand. We've got 25 million people coming to Cars.com every month, and we're not seeing that demand wane. In fact, we're the most traffic marketplace in the ecosystem, and so I'm able to see the bulk of the auto market is very looking forward to a great year this year. Consumers have moved spending from other categories and they're investing in their personal fleets. Like, people want to see the new product this year. It's exciting. We see rich consumer demand. Definitely there's interest in EV is the fastest growing category that we're seeing, but really we're seeing increased demand across the entire ecosystem, new, used, all classes of vehicles. There's a healthy market to be had if the retailers are leaning into that technology first.
So there's a lot of conversation going on about buying cars off the curb, right? It's been a growing area of focus over the last 12 months. What are you seeing in the acquisition side of the business and how dealers are working in software and tools into their operational flow?
Well, first and foremost, we know that the customers going to sell their car are expecting a better experience. Number one, they want a data-driven valuation, not a number that comes out of thin air.
Well, I don't know, you got a little
right?
here.
So consumers are expecting to tell me what my car is worth and tell me with an informed view. And with AccuTrade, we're giving dealers that technology, right? So often consumers leave the dealership frustrated at the number that they were given, but have no context. And with AccuTrade, now we're giving the dealerships the tools to show the customer, your vehicle is worth this because of these reasons. Let me show you what we need to replace on the car. Let me show you what other similar cars are comped in the market. So now the customer is seeing the dealer as the hero, as opposed to the person that they should not trust.
Right, like, oh, we're working, like I'm being worked.
I love what you said. You said the word comped caught me there. It's the very first time that I think I've heard someone in the auto space say comps, right? But everybody, when they're buying a house, it's like, what are the comps in the area, right? I think that's language that we should adopt.
That's a great point. I've never heard that in automotive either, but everyone understands it.
The consumer wants to see, those comparables, and by doing it with data in a format, now the dealer is an advisor, a trust agent. And I think that's so much what we need to do as an industry is to be retail technology driven to accelerate velocity of this industry. We're watching dealerships use AccuTrade go from taking what typically takes 45 minutes to get the customer through the appraisal process down to 4 minutes. And so dealerships now are realizing I can process so many more transactions and move people through my cycle that now I can give everybody in my service lane a real-time vehicle offer before they leave the store. And by doing that consistently and repeatedly, the consumer is becoming much more the authority that consumers can trust, and they don't have to drive 45 minutes to some mythical place to get a better deal. It's happening right here in a customer's backyard.
You've always been a massive advocate about giving the dealers more power in the process and focusing the whole business toward, like, how can we make that endpoint the hero of the entire narrative? What are you seeing with that and kind of the trajectory you're moving in 2023?
Well, look, I think the dealers that are leading with technology are communicating directly that I'm the place you want to be.
When you say the dealers leading with technology, what do you mean by that?
They're doing online financing. They're not making you sit down and negotiate that. They're showing you a digital menu of banks and what they'll give you in terms of your overall credit worthiness and your monthly payment. They're doing that online in a way where the consumer feels that, A, I'm empowered and I'm in control. On the trade-in side with AccuTrade, they're giving them real-time data and a display of what the car is really worth. They're leading with reputation, showing that I'm a 5-star rated service operation. You want to buy this new 2023 Toyota from me, not down the street, because I'm the #1 service ranking dealership in my region. And when I say leading with technology, it's being where people are expected to be, which is out in the open.
Yeah. I love it. Well, Alex, we could probably sit here and talk for hours and hours. Always a pleasure hanging out with you. Your insights for the industry and your care for dealers and consumers are not equaled in so many parts of our industry. So thanks for sharing a little
Well,
bit of
listen,
time.
to your viewers out there, we're here for you. Come see us at the booth, at the Cars.com booth, or reach out to me at alex@cars.com. We're happy to talk and keep the conversation going.
I love that you give your email out.
Look at that.
You're like, send it to me. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for watching this episode of In the Dirt with ASOTU. If you're new to our channel, make sure and mash that like and subscribe button. Also, check out some of these links for our other great podcasts and content.